Okay, in this video I'm going to focus specifically on components that are used within the Fischertech system. I'm going to first start with the outputs. These are items that would be plugged into the M1 to M4 ports, which are over here on my robo interface. I'm going to show you how to plug them in, talk to you about what they are, and how to set them up. The first one, which is used most often, is the motor. The motor has 6 holes in it to connect your wires. So if you notice, there's one on the side, one on the back, and then one on the top, and the same thing on the other side. If you notice, there's a channel that runs right down the middle of it. That separates the two sides of a motor. If you've seen a DC motor, you know that they typically have one side and another side that your wires are soldered to. So here we have our wire. It doesn't matter which side we plug the green plug into and which side we plug the red plug into. They just have to be on opposite sides of this channel. So you could plug it in the back, you could plug them in on top, one in the back. Again, they've got multiple options there because depending on where your motors are situated in your build, you might not have access to some of those ports. These then just plug into the interface. And again, you put one plug in the top and one on the bottom. So if I was plugging this into M1, I would plug one in on top and one in on the bottom, just like that. And that would be how I wire up my motor. The next is an electromagnet, which is this one here. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It only has 2 openings, so we can plug one into one and one into the other. This will allow current to pass through there. If you notice, there's coils of wire. You've probably taken a nail at some point in your life and wrapped a coil of wire around it and then hooked it to a battery, and then you can pick up paper clips and so forth. That's exactly what this is. That's how an electromagnet works. The next one is a lamp. The lamp has 4 ports on it, 2 on one side and 2 on the other. And this is important to make sure that you don't plug it in incorrectly. So the first way would be like this. I'm going to show you the incorrect way, show you why it's incorrect. This right here is the incorrect way to plug it in. The reason is because we look down through here, this is a solid tube or sleeve of metal that runs down in that hole. And this lamp is connected to it. So these are essentially the same 2 spots on each side of that tube. So now when I send a potential difference across this, there's nothing for that current to flow through right there. So this right here would cause a short because you have an infinite current that's now going through this, and it will actually cause the internal circuit breaker of your interface to go off. So you don't want to connect it like this. You do want to connect it like this. This is how you would connect the lamp. And again, you can actually remove the lamp and see that those are your 2 terminals there. And then actually, if we look at this little white housing here, you can see kind of the metal strip on the side here that actually is part of the lamp that is making contact with those 2 terminals. So that just sits back in there. And if I wanted to, I could actually wire lamps up in parallel. So if I wanted 2 indicators to light up at the same time, I could then wire another lamp to this one. I could just put a set of wires between these 2 and between these 2 ports, and now if I have 9 volts going across this lamp, I also have 9 volts going across this lamp. And students should understand that because, again, in the electricity unit, there's series and parallel. So when you get to this point, if you want to show them how to do that, this should reinforce that concept as well on there. There are 2 different lamps. I want to kind of highlight that as well. If you look at kind of the tips of these bulbs, you'll notice that one of them has a lens on the end. So if you notice here at the end of it, right here on the tip, see how it has this piece of glass that you can kind of see up there, where this other one does not. This lamp is used whenever we want to focus a beam of light toward an indicator or toward a sensor, where the other one is just used as an indicator. So if I have like a traffic light, then I would use this one. So it disperses the light in all directions. This one is going to focus it, so it's a beam of light